You've been working for months, long hours, stress you don't talk about. You're doing everything you can to provide, to keep things stable, to be the man you were taught to be. And then one comment lands. That's it. That's what you bring to the table. Everything you've carried disappears. All that's left is the gap between what you provided and what was expected. Or maybe it's different. Maybe you're at dinner with friends and your abuser starts telling you a story about you, about the time you could not cope, about how hopeless you are around the house. Everyone laughs. You smile along because what else are you going to do? But something inside you folds. You've just been made small in front of people whose respect you needed. Or maybe it's about your children, your parenting, actually parenting, present, engaged, trying, and your abuser steps in. That's not how you do it. You're going to hurt them. Just let me handle it. You're not a father anymore. You're an obstacle, a risk, someone to be managed out of your children's lives. This is what it looks like when your roles get attacked. Your value as a provider reduced to a number. Your reputation performed as a joke, your fatherhood framed as incompetence. Your abuser doesn't just mock who you are, they mock what you do, how you're seen, and who you are to your children. In part one, we covered how your identity gets attacked. In part two, how your needs get attacked. This video covers your role, your value as a provider, your reputation, your identity as a father. Three tactics designed to keep you performing, voiceless, and sidelined from the people who matter most. Because a man disconnected from his roles is a man without ground to stand on. Today, we're covering part three of a Masculinity Mockery series, which is attacking your roles. If you haven't watched part one, I'd recommend starting there. It covers what masculinity mockery is, how it works as coercive control, and the psychological mechanisms your abuser exploits, including the act like a man box, which is how your abuser tightens the walls and keeps you trapped. Part 2 covered how your needs get attacked. This video builds on both. Here, we're focusing on three tactics that target your role as a man. The first reduces you to what you produce, which is role based worth. It tells you your value is transactional. You're a provider, a protector, a fixer, nothing more. If you can't perform, you're worthless. You become a function, not a person. The second controls your reputation. Public humiliation of masculinity takes the mockery out of the home and into an audience. Friends, family, social settings, your abuser performs your inadequacy for witnesses. You become a punchline in rooms you have to walk back into. The third attacks your fatherhood. Fatherhood ridicule positions you as the incompetent parent, the risk, the one who can't be trusted. You get sidelined from your own children, not through custody courts, but through daily erosion of your place in their lives. Three tactics, one outcome. You stay performing, voiceless, and disconnected from the role that gives your life meaning. For those new to this channel, this is Stand Again, lived experience content for male victims of family violence. Abuse is not limited to one gender, but this channel focuses on the male perspective because it is so often dismissed or misunderstood. If this content resonates, please like, subscribe, and type the words Stand Again into the comments. Those two words help the algorithm, but they do something else too. There are men who watch this in silence, men who aren't ready to speak. When they scroll through and see the words Stand Again into the comments, they realize they're not alone. Your two words might be just the thing to help another man find his. And also, I hear there's a hype function feature as well. So if you can hype my videos, I'd also greatly appreciate it. Let's get into the tactics now. Type 1 is role based worth. Role based worth reduces you to what you produce. Your value in this relationship is transactional. You're a provider, a protector, a fixer, a problem solver. You're measured by output only, not by who you are. And if your output falters, even if it's just for a moment, your worth completely disappears. What exactly do you contribute around here? I need a man who can actually provide. If you can't handle this, what good are you? The tactic works like this: your abuser defines your value entirely through your roles. What you earn, what you fix, what you solve, what you carry. When you perform those roles well, you get tolerance. When you stumble, when you lose a job, struggle financially, can't solve a problem, need support yourself, you become worthless. The person underneath the function does not exist. There's just the role. And if you can't fill it, you're disposable. The cultural conditioning makes this land hard. Men are taught from childhood that their value comes from their utility, from being useful, from providing, protecting, and handling things. You've absorbed this message your entire life. Your sense of self is tied to what you can do for others. And when your abuser tells you you're worthless because you're struggling to provide, it does not sound like abuse. It sounds like truth. You feel the shame before they even finish the sentence. Your abuser, therefore, can keep you performing. That's how it works as control. If your worth is conditional on your output, you can never stop. You can never rest. You can never struggle. You must work harder, push further, sacrifice more because the alternative is being seen as nothing. And your abuser benefits from every ounce of that effort while giving you nothing back. Your abuser gains a partner locked into permanent production, someone who believes that love must be earned through service, someone who won't ask for anything because they don't believe they deserve anything unless they've produced enough to justify it. The impact is a hollowing out. You become the role so completely that you forget you're a person. Your identity gets swallowed by your function. And when you inevitably falter, because everybody does, because you're human, the shame is unbearable. You've failed at the only thing that made you worth keeping. Type 2 is public humiliation of masculinity. Public humiliation of masculinity takes the mockery outside the home. Your abuser performs your inadequacy for an audience family, friends, colleagues, even social media. You become a character in a story that they tell, and that character is always the punchline. You'll hear things like, "You should see him try to do anything around the house. Honestly, it's so embarrassing." Or "I've basically got 3 children, not two." Or "He's useless without me. Everybody knows it." Your abuser builds a public narrative where you are incompetent, fragile, inadequate, or even ridiculous. They tell stories about your failures at dinner parties. They mock you in front of friends. They post jokes about you online. The details might be exaggerated, distorted, or even invented entirely. The point is the performance. They're recruiting an audience to see you the way they want you seen. This tactic is particularly corrosive because it recruits witnesses. Your abuser isn't just mocking you privately anymore, they're establishing consensus. When friends laugh along, when family shakes their head, when the comment section in their social media agrees, then the narrative becomes social reality. You're not just being diminished by one person, you're being diminished by everyone who now believes the story. That is how it works as a form of control. Your abuser builds reputational armor. If you ever try to speak out about what's happening, if you try to tell your side, the audience has already been primed. Him, he's exaggerating. She told me he can't cope with anything. He's always so dramatic. Your credibility is undermined before you open your mouth. Your abuser gains control of the narrative. You become voiceless in the spaces that matter, with the people whose respect you needed, whose support might have helped you see clearly. And because challenging the public story risks making you look defensive, unstable, or even petty, you stay quiet. You absorb the humiliation. You smile along with the joke. The impact is a shrinking of your world. You start avoiding social situations where you might be mocked. You stop trusting friends who laughed along. You become isolated, not just from your abuser's design, but from your own withdrawal. The public version of you has replaced the real one, and the real one has nowhere left to exist. Type 3 is fatherhood ridicule. Fatherhood ridicule attacks your identity as a parent. Your abuser positions you as incompetent, unsafe, or secondary, not through legal mechanisms, but through daily mockery and undermining. You're sidelined from your own children while being told it's your fault you're not more involved. You'll hear things like, "I can't leave them with you, you don't know what you're doing." or just let me handle it, you'll make things work, or ask mummy, daddy doesn't know anything, or even he's like a babysitter, not a real parent. The tactic works like this: your abuser frames you as the lesser parent. Everything you do is wrong. The way you dress them, feed them, play with them, discipline, none of it meets her standard. Your involvement is either insufficient or excessive or too strict or too lenient, too involved or not present enough. The children hear these critiques. They absorb the message that daddy can't be trusted as a parent. The cultural conditioning amplifies this. Society still positions mothers as the natural parent and fathers as nothing more than helpers. The bumbling dad trope is everywhere. Your abuser leans into this framework. They're not being cruel, they're just being realistic about your limitations. And because the culture agrees that fathers are secondary, the mockery sounds like common sense. That's how it works as coercive control and abuse. Your abuser becomes a gatekeeper to your children. They control when you parent, how you parent, whether your parenting counts. You have to go through them to access your own kids. And because they've established that you're incompetent, any attempt to push back looks like you're putting the children at risk. You get trapped between fighting for your role and accepting the diminished version they've assigned you. Your abuser gains parental authority. They become the expert, the final word, the real parent. Your bond with your children gets filtered through your abuser's approval. And the children themselves start to absorb this dynamic, looking to mum for answers, hesitating to come to dad, treating you the way society and your abuser has been taught to. The impact is grief while your children are still in front of you. You're present but peripheral. You love them, but you can't reach them the way you want to. Your role as a father, one of the most meaningful parts of your identity, gets hollowed out from the inside. And the cruelest part is you're still there, watching it happen, unsure how to stop it without making everything worse. Your roles are a part of who you are: provider, partner, father. They are not just functions you perform, they're sources of meaning, identity, and connection. When your abuser attacks these roles, they're attacking your place in your own life. Your value is not what you produce. You are not a utility to be measured by output. You have worth that exists independent of what you earn, what you fix, or what you carry. That worth doesn't disappear when you struggle. Your reputation is not theirs to perform. The story your abuser tells about you in public is not the truth of who you are. The audience they've recruited doesn't have access to reality. You know what's true, even when no one else seems to. And your fatherhood is real. Your bond with your children exists, even when it's been undermined by an abusive partner. Your love for them counts, even when you've been made to feel like an obstacle. You are their father. That cannot be mocked away. The tools we covered in part one also apply here too. Your gender does not make you inferior. Your value is not defined by your abuser, and the shame you feel when your roles are attacked, that shame was instilled long before you met them. They just learned how to use it. Thank you again for being here. Like, subscribe, and put the word stand again into the comments. Thank you kindly. This is Stand Again, lived experience platform for male survivors of family violence. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Your voice might just help another man find his. If you're looking for one on one support, you can book coaching with a member of the Stand Again team. Simply visit standagain.com.au, where you will also find grounded information on surviving and recovering from family violence as a man. As always, remember that no matter how many times you've been knocked down, you can stand again.